Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly.
Where we pick a random idea from a hat.
And then we just try to develop it.
If you like any of the ideas here, feel free to take them for your own stories.
Ideas are free.
Welcome. Let's see what today's prompt is. Today's prompt. Fracture the fairy tale, The Brave Little Tailor, and put it in a steampunk world.
Ooh.
Oh, Brave Little Tailor and Steampunk. So let's see, what was Brave Little Tailor? That was the one
That's
seven in one blow, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right,
so
okay.
the tailor, kills 7
Flies
in one
hit,
blow, and then
puts it on a shirt.
Yeah, puts it on his shirt,
what
and
he
then
does.
starts going on adventures where people think 7 in one blow is 7 men or 7 monsters, and they keep asking him to do difficult tasks, which he always figures out through his wit.
Yeah.
So that could be fun in steampunk.
Okay, so let's see. If
So
you're
we've got a
dealing
lot
with
of
Well, there are
steampunk,
two
what kind of-
important things for the main character of the Brave Little Tailor.
He has to be clever.
Clever, and he has
figure out what the
to
7
get
in one
a
blow is.
reputation. Because that is the important thing. He utilizes two things. One is his reputation, and the other is his just wit to overcome all obstacles.
So then what would give him his reputation?
Well, one thing, this is steampunk, right?
Mhm.
So he's probably going to be someone that likes to create things, likes to mess with gadgets.
Some kind of inventor.
Some kind of inventor. That's kind of natural for steampunk. So if he's some kind of inventor, he could very well have a good wit. If he's some kind of, inventor, he could get a reputation for, some invention that he's made, or for some invention that they think he's made, whether he's made it or not. Just like the Brave Little Tailor didn't actually kill, 7 men in one blow.
No.
Or you could have it so that a powerful criminal ended up breaking into his shop and accidentally made the boiler explode, and so he just got the reputation of being able to take out this guy.
Yep. Or there could be some major invention that he didn't create, but someone else did. Maybe if you
That's my
had
sister.
Or he created some great invention, but it was by accident, just like sticky notes or something were an accident.
Yeah.
There you go.
One thing is he does not have to be an inventor, because you don't have to have your protagonist of a steampunk world invent things. You just have to have steampunk be in the world. So
That is true.
it doesn't. I like the idea of him of a criminal breaking into his house and then making the boiler explode, and then getting the reputation for single-handedly taking it down. This criminal.
Okay.
So
The criminal actually deserves a Darwin Award.
yes.
Something like that. All right. So he takes down this criminal by accident and gets the credit for this criminal takedown, and he makes a name for himself. What kind of tasks could he be asked to do?
Yes, that is the important thing, because the real question is, what is the main conflict of this story? Because the fairy tale itself was more of a series of little conflicts.
Yeah.
And the main conflict for that would probably be keeping the fact that the 7 in 1 blow was actually referring to flies a secret.
Yes.
Well, you could go with a similar idea and have this be an episodic story, but if we want to try to make something else, we would want to
We would want a big baddie.
Big bad.
Nice big boss level bad guy. Let's
Y'all
see.
look stumped.
In the original, he
stump
was a
you?
giant. Ooh, in steampunk you can have giant mechs, can't you?
Yes.
Yes, as long as they're steam powered.
Could you
Steampunk is a form of sci-fi.
So could you have a giant mech robot inventor who's been terrorizing the city, or you could fly around on a mechanical dragon or something? But he has
A mech guy who's figured out how to make little automatons that have been causing problems, and
No, you don't get little automatons in steampunk.
Okay,
Okay,
gigantic
big.
automatons.
Everything in steampunk is huge.
So big
Yeah, I
giant.
meant little for steampunk, like only 8 feet tall.
Okay.
Because remember, the big limitation of steampunk is your power source is often
Is often
bigger than a person.
me.
So
Yes.
everything in steampunk is
But
huge.
if you had a mechanical dragon, you could have a giant boiler in the
Yeah.
in the belly of
So-
the dragon.
And then it could spew out hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, here's what you do. You have some kind of mad scientist inventor, who is able to create giant mechs basically and
Mhm.
cause chaos with it. But one of his mechs he once created started a rampage, but then had a fatal error, which caused it to shut down and break down. And so that one didn't last long. And no one is quite sure exactly was originally quite sure exactly why it was taken down. But it was themed after, I don't know, something. At the same time, this random guy took down a normal version of whatever he had beaten.
Ah.
But when
Okay.
people started overhearing, oh yeah, he took down that. I don't know. What's something it could be?
Wolf?
I mean, it could be something as simple as bandits on horseback, and then and the mech looks like a giant, horseman.
Avi?
Well, I was just gonna say like a horseman, a giant horseman mech, and the thief who came in was riding a horse, and some people think
Like a small animal.
You mean something
Okay.
like,
He bases
a
it.
fox?
Yeah, he bases it a giant steampunk fox, but that one didn't last very long, and it just shut down completely unexpectedly. And then they overhear, oh yeah, that guy took down, yeah, that guy took down that fox the other day, and it's like, wait a second, was that the guy who took down the fox? But no, his friend was referring to a normal fox. So then he gets recruited to take down the future mechs, but he can't fight them directly because this guy's building, building-sized robots.
The
that are
small
coming
ones
after.
are about
Yeah.
2 humans tall.
yeah,
Yeah,
walk on all
that's
fours.
as small as you can possibly make. So, but he doesn't actually have to beat these mechs with brute strength because they're
he's gonna use his wit.
well, yes, they're mechanical things. So you can always find some way to take it down. To
You can
throw a
always
kink.
figure some way
Mhm.
to just get something jammed in a gear.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Which would really then flow into that steampunk esque.
Yeah. And
So
then you get people thinking that he's this brave, mighty warrior, even though he,
it's like, oh yeah,
he never
I
lifts
used a
anything.
slingshot.
Yeah, never
I
lifts
literally
anything
threw
more.
a small rock into that gear, and
Yeah, there's
that
a gap right there in the metal plating that I could get a rock through, so I there. And then
Use
it
the
broke the
jar of
whole thing.
bugs.
yeah, just throw
Hey,
some
little
bugs into.
bugs.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we need. Yeah, and he could come
Throw
up
a
with
ball
clever
of
ways
tor at
to
it.
Mm-hmm.
to take down this guy's mech, and then eventually. How would you end it though? Because you can't just have him creep bigger and bigger mechs and have him keep
Well,
down
in his
forever.
final battle with the boss, it would make sense and be good if he could find some way to outwit the inventor.
Yeah.
Maybe get him to do something to mess up his own inventions, because it usually comes down to a battle of wits and in fairy tales a tricking your enemy to maybe not deliver the killing blow, but to defeat themselves and then step in at the
Ooh, he could do something like,
to the last
oh,
little bit.
oh, you really think this new mech is going to do anything against me? I beat all your previous mechs. Are you sure about that? I mean, maybe if you had more power, but there's no way you could ever get more power into this mech. Are you sure? And just basically egg him on, use his reputation from all his previous victories against this guy, egg him on until he overdrives the steam engine and it explodes.
Oh,
Well,
that
one
sounds
thing he
fun.
could do is he could talk about how, he's done this and he's done this, and everyone thinks he's so good. So he talks, oh yeah, and I'm creating, and it's going to have this feature and this feature and this feature, and so now the guy thinks he has to try to design something to do that. But in telling him, this is what you have to counter, he's intentionally getting the guy to put bugs in his own thing. And then, throw in the more power, and he can
Yeah.
take his own mechs down. And then once his mechs are down, although another thing you could do that would really play into the wit is kind of having a mystery of who is this guy that's sending all the mechs. Because
That
then
would be a
Fun.
then he's got to figure out who is this guy that I need to get to. And it could be somebody very prominent.
Well, that could be another thing. He could flat out do something like change his reputation when talking to different people. And so it's like
Yeah.
only this person would think to try to would. I only told this one person that I was going to try to use a water-based technique the next time, and suddenly the next mech is specifically designed to counter that. Oh, cool! It's that guy.
Now
type
I
thing.
know who
Or
this
someone
guy
he
is.
told.
Or someone he
Yeah.
told. So there's a hint.
So I've narrowed it down.
So I've narrowed it down a bunch. Well,
Fair enough.
that's towards the end. Often at the beginning, he's telling groups of people different things, and another methods of narrowing it down. Yeah.
Okay, one more thing. Love story. Gotta be a love story. Who's
Well,
the
if
girl?
you've got him being invited to high society, if you have him invited to high society where he's starting to look for this big baddie, it would make sense that he'd run into a girl there. The question is, what kind of girl would you want him to meet?
Here's what you could do. You could, if you wanted to go kind of interesting, you could make it so that the girl has kind of, okay, how do I put this? One,
Are you thinking of the have her be the daughter of the villain?
no,
Okay,
not
just
having
wanted to
the
double
part of
check.
the villain trope, though that is a possibility if you wanted to go that method. I was thinking of have her be very much, have her be a more tomboy, very strong woman, and have her be I refuse to date any man who's not stronger than me. And so then she meets this guy, and she's like, oh, this guy, I know he's really strong, and she gets interested in him, and then and then you could play off that in a relationship where she thinks he's stronger than he is and likes him for that, but then over time she eventually realizes the truth and falls in love with him
that he
for
doesn't
who
have
he
to be
really is.
physically stronger than her.
Well,
Because
then
he's
she
making
realizes,
up for it.
well, he may not be physically stronger than most anybody, but he is still the strongest.
He is
Right,
still the
Because he's been able to take out these things that no one else has, so.
I was gonna say
and it'll be the whole
alternatively, you could
character
have it
development
be
for her.
someone with some mechanical knowledge or someone who can help him with, maybe not an inventor, but someone who has some. But I do
Okay.
think a tough girl could be fun. Tough girls are fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
with,
Like
any,
tough girls.
with any kind of romance, you can come up with like 4 million different options, but I personally like the tomboy. That's
So
the
which
term.
one of you would want to write this?
Ooh.
I mean, if I had the time, I might be willing to write this kind of story.
It could be really fun.
be fun.
My thing is,
Seems
if
like
I
it's
was
right
going
up
to
your
write
alley.
it, man, I would have to do a lot of research into
On the
all
science
the on the
Mhm.
science
of
and the
the
next to get it
style,
all
yeah.
right. And I would start writing things, and then y'all would be going, "No, that's not right. It's like this," and I would have to do a lot of rewriting of my science.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done that before.
Never.
Right? Okay,
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Didn't
I
make
mean,
Patrick a character.
would be fun to write. It probably won't have the
fun.
time, so if anyone wants to steal it, feel free.
Yep. All right. See
Have
you
fun,
next
everyone.
time.
I'm gonna go take a
See ya.
nap.